The New Mexico Lobos take the home field. College football presented by Geico. And we shift to the Mountain West. Colorado State visits the Lobos. Good evening, everybody. John Sadak alongside the Hall of Famer and Randy Cross. Well, the records tell the story, right? These are teams with a sense of urgency to find a victory. And for Colorado State, travel complications.
Yeah, there was about an 8-hour delay. Supposed to get in about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. They saw a movie, had a meal, had their usual game day meetings, and arrived at the hotel about 12:15 this morning. So I don't think it's that huge of a deal for the players necessarily. It panics coaches. Coaches hate a break in routine like this.
For the quarterbacks, there were questions. Who would start for each respective team in the wake of uncertainty? These are the men. Patrick O'Brien for Colorado State, Sharon Jones for New Mexico.
Going back to comfort, and in this case, throwing the ball for Colorado State and Patrick O'Brien, and running the ball and being unpredictable with Jones at quarterback for New Mexico.
For Colorado State in the backfield, Marvin Kinsey can fly, brought to you by our CDWI Vision.
He can. You'll hear me say a lot about his vision. You hear me talk a lot about his lateral speed and how he can break through holes. But you're also going to hear me say a lot about him as he's got to keep the ball high and tight. Because if you don't, in these kind of situations, the ball can get grabbed. It almost got grabbed there. He's had a history of fumbling. We'll see. If he can break these big plays, not put the ball on the ground, this Colorado State offense can do a lot of really good things.
And for New Mexico, they'll be without their primary ball carrier, Amari Davis. He could give it a go, but will be limited with back concerns. Bryson Carroll gets more carries.
See him working on a little high and tight there. He's a former high school option quarterback, actually came here to be an option quarterback. Not the biggest player in the world, so you've got to figure a lot of mix and matching for Bob Davie's offense, but Carroll will be the major threat.
Bob Davie said it comes down to which team can bounce back from getting their butt kicked in terms of the matchup with Colorado State tonight. Mike Bobo, as level-headed, as cool as they come. He is eager to see his pass game at full display as he'll have Warren Jackson, Dante Wright, and Nate Craig Myers on the field together for the first time at wideout since Toledo on the 21st of September. It's 57 now, Randy, but expected to plunge down into the upper 30s before this game concludes.
Well, we are in the mountains. This is Albuquerque, which a little bit higher altitude-wise than Denver.
A little over 5,000 feet above sea level. Colorado State won the toss and elected to take the football. That's been the norm under Mike Bobo. And there's the boot. Anthony Hawkins, return man from his own 4. And he's down. Poor field position at the game start as the Lobos get it done in coverage. Chick-fil-A starting lineups. And the quarterback for the Rams is Patrick O'Brien. His head coach, Mike Bobo, said of the choice to go with O'Brien when he opened the competition this week, he gives us the best chance to win, in particular in the pass game. And Bobo thought he didn't show patience when he pulled him last week.
And with those 3 receivers back in this offense for the first time since Toledo, they can flip the ball around and throw it pretty well.
Motion from Dante Wright. The ball in the belly of Kinsey. Giant gash. And Marvin Kinsey shielding the football from the probing reach. He gets to the 30 on a big run.
Yeah, nice big hole over the left side there. Watch the left side of the offensive line just open up. Good seal block. Look at Kinsey. He's got that ball high and tight, and he's got 2 hands on the ball once he gets in the crowd. That's a great sign right there. He's taking care of that ball.
6 fumbles lost entering the game, most by any player in America. Play fake. Flips it out, finds Ross.
Yeah, he's got a great catch radius. This is a guy that can pull him down from everywhere. He gives a quarterback's great confidence, is how Mike Bobo described him.
Single back here, a lot of tight ends for Colorado State. They haven't been very involved in the pass game on the season. Nate Craig Myers shows motion. Back to Kinsey, another Pretty good hold on the right side, and he gets swung down by Alex Hart, the heart and soul of the New Mexico defense. But look out for the man at the Buck hybrid linebacker position. They call him Mo, Alexander Vinicola.
He'll do a little bit of everything. You'll see him drop a little bit. You'll see him blitz. He's very good coming after a quarterback on a blitz, and you got to think O'Brien's going to see a little bit out of this New Mexico defense.
Third down. Rams haven't been great this year. 36%. That's 95th in America. Looking to throw. O'Brien steps up, fires, and he connects for the first down. Finds his tight end, Trey McBride. His 16th grab of the year. Jarek Reed, the second, the stop.
Yeah, this Colorado State Ram offense, kind of a pro style. You'll see fullbacks, you'll see tight ends, you'll see 3 receivers at a time. A little bit of everything. Mike Bobo's kind of brought a very SEC look into the Mountain West when he came here 5 years ago.
And that's a relative rarity in the Mountain West. Out of the gun with Kinsey sidecar. Pressure shown by the Lobos. They bring it on the outside. O'Brien flush some on the roll. O'Brien fires sideline. Tight in between. Swung. And that's a catch. That's brought in by the Lobos.
They're discussing it as to who actually had possession, but I think Jackson had that thing. He threw it on the outside of Jackson. Jackson brought it in. I think this is going to be a great example of what Mike Bobo talked about, the radius of catch and the confidence he gives a quarterback, because you just sort of throw the ball out there and you know your receiver is going to get it. While it was in bounds, Jackson had that ball.
Kevin.
I know one thing, you keep Jackson in your plans no matter where he is.
Edge pressure shown. Play fake to Kinsey, and the quick hitter deflected. They were looking for Dante Wright. They set up the screen on the near left with Jackson blocking, and Aaron Austin, a defensive end, slapped it away.
Yeah, last time Jackson was on the field against Toledo, he had 13 targets and 12 catches. That ball deflected off the shoulder pads. Never even got to the hands of the head, off the shoulder pads.
Now here's that pro style you're talking about, Randy. They use the fullback some at Colorado State. Play fake. With protection wide open. Touchdown Rams. Trey McBride with his second grab of the game, his first touchdown of the season.
43-yard touchdown reception.
Wow, this play is made, I mean absolutely made, by the halfback Kinsey. Look at that block chopping down the blitzer. He chops down the blitzer. O'Brien can stand in there nice and strong, and McBride's able to get into the end zone. But that's blitz pickup by the running back. Not all running backs will stick their head in there like that and flip up a blitzer coming on him.
Here's Caden Camper, the true freshman, walk-on kicker. Grabbed the job in week 3 against Arkansas. Point after is true. The Rams wanted the ball. They go the field. Trey McBride, a couple of big grabs, including this one for 42. College football, presented by Geico. It's only the second touchdown grab of McBride's career, only the second by any Rams tight end all season. Could we see more liberation to the tight ends with the wideouts healthy this week? So the Rams kick. Braxton Davis does those duties. That'll be deep for a touchback. Chick-fil-A starting lineups for the host Lobos. They've gone back and forth some. There was debate this week, but Sharon Jones gets the nod.
And the Lobos as a group, quarterback-wise, they're about a 50% passing team, maybe a little bit below that. But when they're really dangerous is when the quarterback is either on a planned run or when he scrambles and runs. Because when he's running, he ain't running to pass. He's running to run.
Motion. And the run game to Carroll. Takes a couple of punishing hits. Finally felled at the 30. The rest of the offense at left tackle, Javon Mosley is back. Missed last week with an ankle, and he is a big lineman.
Yeah, big like 6'7", big like 345. Tell you, they got a heck of a center, too, in there with Kyle Stapley.
And here's a run, and look at that sea of space for Sharon Jones, who began his collegiate career in the SEC in Tennessee.
One thing about this defense for Colorado State, they'll play single safety high and they'll be in man. And when you're in man, that single safety high better make that tackle, because if he doesn't make that tackle, he is gone. So if the quarterback drops back and sees guys with their backs turned, he'll run the ball every time in this game.
Look for the Rams to spy at times. There's Carroll again. He pushes for about 4. The defense for the Rams plays better than the numbers, including Cam Carter, 8 tackles, a career high at his first collegiate sack last week.
You see all the low numbers there, and one of them's a linebacker in Jackson, but Cam Carter at number 12 and Jackson at number 5 and Folsom at 24, but they play a lot of 4-2-5 defensively, 5 defensive backs. That's what they're in right now.
And they show edge pressure. Mosley helps pick it up, but a bad throw, tip ball incomplete. Looking for Bryson Carroll out of the backfield. Now Carroll only has 2 catches. Amari Davis is the primary running back, but battling back spasms.
Carroll gets that head flipped around, but the ball is thrown high and behind him. It's not an impossible catch, but you can see impossible from that one.
35% are the Lobos on 3rd down this year, 105th in America. Needing 6. Jones, quick hitter, knocked away, incomplete. Looking for Aaron Molina, but right on the spot, Kevin Bailey, the son of the 12-time Pro Bowler, the Hall of Famer, Champ Bailey.
Yeah, Kevin Bailey showing a little family ties there. Nice defense, getting inside and underneath to get that hand in to knock that ball away. That was some good defense.
Dante Wright.
You'll see a lot of man matchups in this game when New Mexico has the ball.
Here's that rugby-style kick. We have 2 great punters in this game. Wright flails, made the fair catch wave.
That's a smart play. Smart play by Wright. Sprinting up and diving to catch that ball, because if that ball hits the ground, I'm willing to bet you it dies inside the 5-yard line.
Just a short ride over the Hank R. Schrader Memorial Bridge, the Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta. Annual event since the early 70s, over 500 balloons in the air, biggest in the world.
When I opened my curtains this morning, it looked like they were all up. That was crazy. I haven't seen that many balloons in the air since Napa Valley.
We've seen Patrick O'Brien in the air quite a bit. Cam Butler in motion. O'Brien, who's only missed once so far, loads up, takes a heave, catch, Dante Wright, and the ball free. Lobos have it. Dante Wright pops it. A wrestling match for the football.
Now the question's going to be, was it ripped out before he hit the ground, or did the ball come out after he hit the ground?
Brandon Burton shows it.
Nice job, little play action look, short roll, good protection. Wright's got it. I think that ball came out after he hit the ground. I think he's going to say catch and he's down. Let's look at it again. Yeah, that ball's out now. He's on the ground.
The Ram offense is on the field. Warren Jackson helped rip it back free for the Rams. You called, by the way, partner, while we were at break. I smell a fumble when we come back.
Yeah.
What do you know? 1 play and the ball's on the ground. A Rams team with 13 fumbles, 10 lost entering the game. And it's New Mexico ball. Wow. The point just came from our referee, Kevin Hassel, after a conference on the field. Lobos ball, that's what I saw. Won there by Brandon Burton, the UCLA transfer.
Yeah, it looked like to me that Wright had possession of the ball when he went down, and after he came down, that's when the ball popped out.
Sharon Jones back to the field. The Lobos give it away a ton, but they do it by picks. 10 interceptions on the year. And a giant inside run for Carroll. Finds second level and a dozen yards. Back to that 41. Logan Stewart and Daquan Jackson combined. have had some big swing moments. Two teams feeling a sense of urgency, hungry for victory. On the ground, giant seam. Bryson Carroll, touchdown. He entered with 196 yards on the season. He zips for 57 and 6.
Bob Davie said this young freshman can go, was an option quarterback, but watch what he does here. Does he have the ball when he crosses the goal line? Is it in his possession? Got it. Dropped it on the 2-yard line.
Now the ruling on the field is touchdown. They're out there to kick. Colorado State's going nuts on its sideline.
Well, they should be going crazy. They're going to look at this upstairs. He dropped it before he ever scored. Now the ball dropped in the end zone, but he lost possession of the ball on the 2-yard line. He did not cross the goal line with the ball.
And apologies, we've had mic issues all night. They're going to
goal
put the ball at the
line.
1-yard line here.
The ball will be placed at the 1-yard line. It will be 1st and goal.
Carroll was the last one to possess the ball. He was at the 1-yard line. No one recovered it. If you'd have fallen on that ball, it would have been a touchback. No one recovered it, so New Mexico gets the ball because they're last one to have possession of the ball.
And they have Kentrail Moran out there at running back. It was not mentioned as an option this week, and Moran gets his first carry and plunges for a touchdown.
Well, I like the commitment. You don't have the option of getting underneath, but it's a straight dive, and the offensive line creates the room to give Moran the spot to get in there for his first touchdown.
Well, Moran at 5 carries all season. Now the point after to try to tie it up. And no good.
A doink.
Clank for Shelley, who had only missed 1 extra point and 1 field goal, a chip shot all season. Things get weird on Friday night. So Moran gets his first career touchdown. We had asked Bob Davie and his staff this week when they told us Amari Davis was banged up, who will see the load, and they mentioned Carroll. They mentioned Javon Jones. There was no mention of Moran, who got the shot there.
The goal line specialist.
Rams take a shot. There's Kevin Bailey. Smashed hard. Violent hit. And the special teams continue to soar as Bobby Cole brings them down. The Lobos have been fired up. Their coverage on specials outstanding. Motion from right. Back to the ground game. Trying to explode the inside, and Aaron Austin, defensive end, gets the denial. It feels like some emotional fireworks out there, Randy. Some chirping after plays. This game just got notched up a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. You know, Colorado State had the big play to start this thing off with that long drive. New Mexico brings a big play of themselves with Carroll.
Pressure is there. Sidestep. Kinsey spun around. Gets chipped down by Brandon Burton. He'll be short by a little more than 3.
And that's a good example, too. You saw the way he's carrying that ball high and tight. Every time we show him running with the ball, especially in a replay, concentrate on the ball. Where's he carrying it? Because if it starts getting low, that's when you start having the fumbles.
It does look like Keith Williams has continued to work at right tackle. Remember, Barry Wesley went down early in the game for the Rams. 3rd and 3. O'Brien, backside pressure, violent hit, Nate Craig Myers brings it in and holds on despite the vicious collision from Brandon Burton.
Yeah, that's the kind of hit you need some friends from the sideline to tell you to stay down and relax. Yeah, and if he's okay here, you're going to see him as this game continues. They will move him around some. This time, O'Brien's going to be flushed, and he's going to see Myers running across the field. That's when the contact hits. Perfectly legit hit. It's a shoulder into the side of the shoulder. There's no head involved. That hit was perfectly legal. There's no targeting. And Craig Myers gets up under his own power and heads to the sideline. That's a good sign.
He missed. Bobo, quarterback at Georgia. He likes to sling it. Check down. Off the hands, incomplete. Now second down arrives.
That's an example of having plenty of arm and not quite enough hands. Got the ball where it needed to be. Just goes right through the hands.
And that was Ryan Lynch. As Colorado State is forced to go deeper on the depth chart, Randy, with E.J. Scott out due to suspension and Craig Myers in the medical tent since that vicious hit this drive. Go to the eye. You got to think run. Lobos do too. Kinsey with the plunge gets only a couple, 3rd and 8. What do you like here?
I like O'Brien. And if he's still got Jackson out there on the field, which I think he does, I follow my guy, the big receiver, the 6'6", 210-pound receiver, who'll be down here in the bottom of the field, the top receiver. Right here.
Rams 3 of 4 on 3rd down, so they set the stack. 3 down linemen. Locked left side, throwing left side. You called it, and there's the connect for the 1st down. Help out of bounds by Jarek Reed the 2nd.
Yeah, nice formation, good play concept by Mike Bobo and company. You got 2 receivers. You're going to clear out the first DB with your receiver in the front. You're going to leave Jackson one-on-one with basically a safety. He pushes him off, breaks to the sideline, makes for an easy throw for O'Brien.
It's 11 yards. O'Brien with a $159. Kinsey, big block. And a hard second smash, hops out of bounds. How about Dante Wright giving up the body?
I tell you, Dante Wright did a nice job, but I'm not sure if Kinsey didn't run past a couple of pretty big holes. Watch as he goes to his left. There's one right here, and then he goes to the outside. But that inside hole, I think he's got more yards inside than trying to get outside.
Could he be tentative because of the ball security issues?
Well, he held on to the ball. It's always a good sign.
Kinsey breaks it right. Gets shouldered down after he gets the 1st down. Another hit for Jarek Reed the 2nd. They'll move the chains again. And the Rams won't push any tempo. They'll let the clock fade.
If I'm New Mexico, I go to the sideline here in between quarters. Defensively, I start talking about going after the ball, putting helmets on the ball, putting arms on the ball, knocking this ball loose.
We're through a quarter in New Mexico. The Rams by a skinny point. Warren Jackson in motion. Kinsey, he's got space. Gets low, gets the 1st down. Johnny Hernandez the stop.
Yeah, nice blocking on the outside that really seals it. You got a wing, you got a tight end, and you got a tackle. Check out that left 3. Bang, bang. Then you get Jackson, the receiver, gets in there and even gets a little push on a DB to buy a couple extra few yards.
Fresh set of downs. Kinsey bounces it outside. Gets inside of the 10. Tonight's Red Zone brought to you by Verizon.
Kinsey's feeling it now, you can tell. And he's looking. You run that zone style of offense, you've got to be able to make that cut. You only get one, but you got to make it.
Kinsey has been gashing New Mexico. 2nd down and 6.
It's that same formation they ran so well to the left 2 plays ago.
Play fake. Fire! Incomplete. Warren Jackson could not secure it inbounds. Aided out of play there by Dejon Rogers.
Yeah, nice job by Rogers. You don't have to knock it to the ground, you just have to disrupt the catch. He's got it, and he's out of bounds. So whether he held it or not, it was a moot point. Look at his right foot. Does he have it? Bobbling it, but that right foot comes out of bounds right there.
So here's 3rd down. Creeping pressure shown. O'Brien swings it left. First hit no, and the second does the damage. Flying in the air, Jacoby Hearn able to chop down the big Cam Butler at tight end.
A nice job by this offense in general. Another good example of blitz pickup. It was showing blitz. They brought blitz. They blocked it, and then it's running through a tackle to get you a first down.
They go big here. Flicked out to Kinsey. Flag out.
Fumble.
And ball loose. Where did the fumble take place? Mike Bobo feeling all sorts of frustration.
Remember what I said, Kinsey, he's carrying that ball low. Man, run that back a little bit. Back up that tape. Look at that ball. I mean, if you stop it when he's about the 3-yard line, he's actually waving the ball back and forth in front of him. And that ball's out of his possession on the 1.
After further review, the runner fumbles the ball at the half-yard line, and it goes into the end zone where it is recovered by a player of the offensive team. However, the player was out of bounds. Therefore, the ball is out of bounds. It's a touchback.
So a touchback. And New Mexico ball. Another fumble lost for Kinsey, who did not start last week. That was a punitive measure. His head coach, Mike Bobo, said he needed to win back the trust of his team and of his offense to prove he could hold on to the football.
I let him block a few times. Let him think about what I'm going to do with it. He holds it for everybody else on that offense.
Bryson Carroll, who's already had a career day, hit down by Jamal Hicks.
Boy, nice job up front. That right side with Briggs and Saltis and Stapley from the center spot.
Sharon Jones got the start. Keeps here. They're trying to knock the football free. Jamal Hicks could not win the ball. First down for Jones to the 35, a gain of 9.
Yeah, a little lead play with the option. And the option is you give the ball to Carroll and you run the play, which is supposed to be over the right tackle, or you keep the ball and bootleg it by yourself off the left side. And that's exactly what he did.
The Lobos have still not yet completed a pass. Jones is 0 for 3. Option here, nearly lost. It's seemingly dead to rights. Carroll wins back to the line of scrimmage. That's a gain by not losing. Bombic gets the stop.
Yeah, it should have been a loss of 5. Ends up just being about a loss of 1.
And Bombic pressed into the start. Manny Jones, who's the top tackler on the D-line for Colorado State, hurt last week against San Diego State. He did make the trip, but is not playing. Jones fires, not even close. And there's a flag. Emmanuel Logan-Green.
Was that a tug and pass interference? Was that ball even catchable? Is my second question.
Could it have been catchable without that?
Man, this must have happened very, very early.
A pass interference on Logan Stewart, if reading lips accurately, 37.
Inside receiver, check it out.
Certainly he slowed him. What do you see?
He stiff-armed him. Didn't look like he grabbed him that much.
Without a completion, they get yards thanks to the penalty, and now Carroll rips free into the red zone, taken out by Jamal Hicks.
Man, he goes through that huge hole on the right side. Right in between the right guard, Briggs. Look at that seal block right there. Huge hole. And then he just outraces the defense. Not that much blocking downfield. He's just faster than them.
Carroll refusing to go down. Forward progress stalled just inside the 5 by Jamal Hicks. A little more than a couple of yards. Hicks was the star last week when he tied a career high with 15 tackles against the Aztecs.
Yeah, but Carroll, really nice job of keeping those feet going. There's nothing on the right side. He's one more bounce away from 6 points, but they won't let him bounce away. He gets in and bounces one time, second no go.
Moran back in. He's got the touchdown for the Lobos.
Look at this formation. Think that's a power backfield?
Moran.
But check out this formation. Look at those tight ends. Is the knee down? Well, the knee goes down about here. Watch. Stop it now.
But he broke the plane.
There,
right?
but the ball's there. It's in the end zone. That's 6 points.
And the offense on the field trying to make it a clean touchdown game.
I don't know what the chart says right now, but I kick this extra point and go 13-7.
The lob, one-on-one, flag out.
Pass interference.
And it scores for 2.
Oh no, it's against the defense.
They go for 2 for the first time all year, and Marcus Williams brings it in.
And they do it on a pass, John. Haven't done much of that. Comes down with the ball and a foot in.
Second in the Mountain West in yards, but first in America in fumbles lost, and you pain for the young man. Touchback here. I think these teams looking for a victory. Rams 1-5 have lost 4 straight, winless in league play. O'Brien a long heave, leaping grab, Warren Jackson. No shot, touchdown. 87 yards.
And more importantly, for what's happened lately, no flags. Well, you know they love to throw it to him. You've got to find a way to get at least one guy on this big fella. They've got 2 or 3 right there until they're not there. Collision, 2 fall to the ground, then Jackson just strides it out. That was set up with a short roll by O'Brien and beautiful protection by his offensive line.
Critical point after to come. And it's good. A Colorado State team that failed to eclipse 300 yards of offense in back-to-back games has already done it in the first half.
Watch the wall they create right here. O'Brien's going to start here, get over here, and then just chunk that thing down the field. And the protection buys him the time to do it. Seal it, no rush. Hit him on the run, little collision by the DBs. Sounds like a formula for a big play, 6 points. And man, has this offense missed Jackson or what?
And a booming kick, unreturnable. You look at the numbers, and the yardage is so dominant for Colorado State. It almost feels like a win for New Mexico to have a tie right now.
Well, the only numbers that matter, it's not the 3 catches for 112 yards and a touchdown. It's 14-14.
Look at the difference in the air, and there on the ground, the penetration from Jalen Bates. No gain on the plunge by Carroll.
Jalen Bates, the other defensive end, watch him close this thing down. It's going away from him. They're trying to get him with a tight end. Man, you're not going to get a helmet in front of that defensive end charging inside on a stunt like that.
Bates, a grad transfer from Arizona State. Had 10 tackles against Utah State a few weeks ago. He could be an impact player. He held that for a long time, and Jones baffled a few and then slips right through it too soon. Gets a little more than 5, 30.5-yard line.
Yeah, this offense will really test your keys. You know, you've got to stay with your assignment. If you don't stay with your assignment, as long as Davis will hold the ball in that handoff, or Jones, I mean, you've really got to be careful.
Third down just got harder. Stunt is on. Jones flips it off. And a big-time hit. Damian Dickens flies in the air and thwarts Javon Jones.
Yeah, Jamian Dickens doing a really nice job of recognizing screen. They set it up pretty well, but Dickens, coming from the inside, saw it the whole way and just had some nice pursuit down the line to basically negate that play for nothing.
Looks like they're going to send some pressure here. See if they can block Dyer. Nearly did. Wright lets it take a big bound and a Lobo roll.
Tell you what, they had a free runner now twice, and they couldn't get Dyer.
Once again to Jackson. That was nearly picked. The hands flew to the helmet in frustration as Jarek Reed II could taste a turnover. Dante Martin as well.
Here comes the ball. Oh, right through. He saw it. Not only saw it, he might have touched it.
I feel like calling that timeout could burn the Lobos. 56 seconds. Contact up the sideline, incomplete. Jackson battling along with Martin. And remember, Dante Martin's only a freshman.
The Colorado State sidelines vehemently begging for a penalty. Freshman does a nice job. He does push Jackson out of bounds.
He leads them in pass breakups. His coordinator, Jordan Peterson, had told him from the start of fall camp, hey, when they see our defense, they're going to see you starting at corner as a freshman.
Mike Bobo was pointing out to the official, you know, if he pushes him out of bounds, that's interference.
O'Brien rolling. Has no choice. Hop out of bounds, 44 seconds.
Yeah, he's not going to terrify you with his feet. He's going to terrify you with his arm and what he can do down the field, so you better cover him down the field and his receivers. But if you can flush him, it's all about the coverage. You're not worried about him killing you with his legs. That's for the ball.
O'Brien looking for Kinsey, incomplete. And a flag down as O'Brien was down on contact from Ben Gonzalo. It has been choppy.
Oh, this might be some free yards here. Roughing.
Indeed. Personal foul for roughing the passer with 38 seconds left. It was 3rd and 11, and here's a gifted first down and yards.
Yeah, you've already documented the penalties in these teams and the way they've piled them up. It's gone. See, when you lift him up to plant him in the ground, I'm pretty sure at most every level, that's roughing the quarterback. That's just not thinking. I know one thing. I would make sure Jackson at the bottom of the screen has at least 2 guys on him.
O'Brien finds his tight end, Trey McBride. Finds a path out of bounds at the 18, 25 seconds.
Good play design. Jackson's on that side. He runs about a 12, 15-yard out. They pull the tight end who lines up on the right side of the offensive line. They pull him outside in the flat, and he's wide open. They're thinking about Jackson. They get him with the tight end.
They got it matched up again, and you can see Dejon Rogers pointing. I think he's frustrated by that size of the matchup there. There's another pick screen. And a lob, and another flag as Jackson was manhandled by the undersized Rogers.
Yeah, Rogers never got his hands off him.
And apologies, we've had issue all night. It is, again, a pass interference call. Dejon Rogers, JUCO transfer to Monroe College.
And it's from the jump. Rogers has got him. He's in his chest. He's pushing him. I mean, that's impeding the progress towards the ball. That's kind of pass interference.
And I go back to the Lobos calling that timeout. The Rams weren't going to. They seemed to cede that the half would likely be over at that time.
Now you have 20 seconds and 2 timeouts. You can throw here, you can run here, but you better hold on to the dang ball.
Looking left side. Wide open, and he threw behind him, incomplete, looking for Ty McCullough.
Had him wide open. Run off 3 seconds there. That was a touchdown. Just didn't hit his receiver. So you still got that timeout. And now you got 17 seconds and second down.
O'Brien and Jackson. That's been the matchup that has owned the game. They're going to send McBride and Jackson onto the left side. Kinsey in the backfield. The screen. The block set up. And Wright stopped inside of the 1. 10 seconds.
Timeout.
Time's continuing to roll. Even though they had blared the whistle, they're going to have to add time here.
Now it's designed as a double screen. They're blocking. Not sure where that ball ended up. It looked like you can tell he's down. Right now he's on the ground. But where was the clock as those whistles were blowing?
Now the clock on the scoreboard still shows 4 seconds.
See, the whistles are blowing when that pile, that scrum is formed.
And they've gone to 12 seconds. They've put 12 seconds on the clock. So now 3rd and goal, you can run a play, run a pass, right?
Yeah. 12 seconds. You could run the ball with a timeout.
But they did that quite a bit in recent weeks, and they have been stonewalled in these situations multiple times. They come out heavy. They're show and run. O'Brien needing a yard. Pump fake. Throws. Lost by Adam Prentice. They go to the fullback, who only had 5 catches all season entering the game.
The key to that play wasn't the design. The key was the pressure. You got a DB diving into your legs. You can't follow through on the throw. It's low to your fullback. Probably not your best hands on your team. And you don't get the completion.
They're going for it. Late second quarter last week, they had 1st and goal. 4 straight runs denied. They go on the ground. The launch. Touchdown! Mike Bobo shows confidence in the run game, and Marvin Kinsey, who lost a touchdown when he lost the ball earlier in the half, punctuates the stanza with a TD.
You know, right over Newilly, the left guard. Did a great job by Stormont, the left tackle. Brooks, the center. See that push? The red jerseys are in the end zone. So when the green and white jerseys get to the end zone, it's going to be a touchdown.
Point after. Caden Camper delivers. A drive for Mike Bobo's Rams. So the completion, the only technical completion for Jones in the half. The final play. Now the Lobos will have the ball to begin the second. The Rams had won the toss, wanted the football, but the Rams have the lead, trying to snap a 10-game slide against FBS foes and continue their mastery of the Lobos. College football on CBS Sports Network. Howling at the full moon, a weird and wacky first half. The Rams by a TD in Albuquerque. Welcome on back, John Sadak, the Hall of Famer, Randy Cross. It was weird with the travel issues for the Rams. It got weirder with kickoff.
Well, I tell you, that full moon, werewolves. Turnovers, penalties, dumb plays, that makes coaches howl at the moon. And we've had plenty of those in the first half. But the highlight has been the Colorado State passing game. And the fact that somehow, some way, Bob Davie's football team has just clawed and stayed in this thing.
The fact that it is a touchdown game, when you break down the numbers, the Rams are on their way to 700 yards of offense, and they're only up a touchdown.
Well, I mean, New Mexico's given up 300 yards passing every week, and Colorado State's about 10 yards short of that already. The turnovers are a huge part. The penalties, 7 already for 77 yards.
143 in the first. The Lobos have the ball to begin the second. The Rams had won the toss and asked for the football. If you're New Mexico, though, Randy, and the pass game was not there for Sharon Jones and the Lobos, yes, you've decided he's your quarterback, but do you have to include Tavaka Tuioti at least in third and longer situations to keep them honest?
At some point, and I mean fairly early in the third quarter, second or third possession, I'm going to a different quarterback if it doesn't get better immediately.
Sharon Jones officially 2 of 6 passing for 11 yards. Here's the ground game with Carroll. And to highlight the positives, both offensive lines you thought played pretty well in the first.
Yeah, I did. I mean, New Mexico, I thought answered the call. Carroll specifically had a heck of a coming out party tonight. I mean, they were worried about Davis not being available. I mean, this kid's more than made up for that.
He's got 120 yards, a career high. Motion from Jordan Kress. On the ground. Stretching it out, spinning off contact from Logan Stewart. That's going to be good for the first by about a yard for Bryson Carroll.
New Mexico's very good at giving you formation and they give you motion. When they give you both, you better be careful. And they've got a quarterback here in Jones that's very good at holding and holding and holding and then giving that ball off to his running back. Combination of good blocking and good formation, just getting the defense out of position.
There, the DN, Jalen Bates, got the first paw on Jones, who does a pretty good sell job holding the football out for his back.
Well, the highlight is right here. Playing it, you're patient. That's textbook by Bates. Not overcommitting and then getting in there and making the tackle.
On second down, inside run. That earns the 42, gain of about 4. Cam Carter the stop. So what do you do here on third and about 3?
Seriously? You're New Mexico, you run the ball.
That's right. Just making sure.
You know, you've got Carroll. He's got amazing lateral speed. You can go either side. Numbers say right.
One high safety. They crowd the box here, looking for their first conversion on third down. They pass, incomplete. You appreciate the effort, Randy, looking for Jordan Kress, but Jones is at 40% on the season entering the game.
Well, Kress, this is a play that's in a lot of playbooks. This is made exactly for one thing. It's yards after the catch. You're getting an easy completion, and your receiver's job is to turn the ball up the field and get the first down.
Dante Wright, return man. Been a few near misses on block tries against Dyer. Just rugbies this one away. Gets great length and the fair catch wave of the 15 for Dante Wright. On the ground. And Kinsey earns about 3. Vinacolo in there on the contact.
And Mike Bobo is showing a lot of faith in his #1 runner, who has already taken himself kind of out of the game one time when he got banged. There he looked like he wanted to come out, and they pushed him back in.
He did get a critical score when they elected to go for it on essentially the final play of the first half on 4th and goal from the 1.
You got to continually check this guy's ball security, though. Is the ball high and tight?
O'Brien changing things up. Fakes the toss to Jackson. The size mismatch is so significant. Do you have to roll a second defender over?
Yeah, I think doubling him is almost mandatory. And then right here, they've got guys available. They got the safety Reed standing right there. I mean, if he goes over the top, Reed's going to pick him up.
Instead, a dozen yards there. Jackson, 6 catches, 154. McElroy is in at running back.
A lot of pad on the bottom of the screen on Jackson. Look at that space.
Showing blitz. McElroy with Jackson helping, along with Prentice, and they shave some space. He gets a little more than 4.
You get 4 yards in most offenses. That keeps the play caller on the sideline. In this case, Mike Bobo, kind of smiling and dialing. Your whole playbook's open. You can throw on second down because you have the confidence that on third down, you can get it with either a run or a pass.
You creep up some to the Lobos. With Wright in motion, he motions again. They feed Wright on the sweep. Dante Wright! Out of bounds at the 3. Jarek Reed, the second, trying to stay stride for stride with the burning true freshman.
This is just pure speed. Watch the blocking on this left side. This is designed where you're just getting Wright screaming across the formation on that speed sweep. He runs right by 3 unblocked New Mexico defenders. Then he outpaces a corner. That's amazing.
64 yards. Kinsey, giant space. Touchdown, Rams. He had to watch most of the game start last week against San Diego State. He felt the penance of a fumble going in for a touchdown earlier tonight. And now Kinsey limping to the sidelines in the wake of another score.
Well, I tell you, that left side, especially the left guard, Nuili, does a great job. Right tackle Taylor just collapses that right side of the offensive line for Colorado State.
Point after is good. And it was the burst by Dante Wright for 64. He burst on the scene with a score on the ground and in the air in his debut. And Kinsey earning trust back. The Rams doubling them up. 21 unanswered points for Colorado State. Lobo fans, they don't like seeing the Rams. Colorado State has owned New Mexico. 9 straight wins in the series. Rams trying to get off the schneid, get their first win over an FBS foe since beating New Mexico on a last-second field goal last year. Lobo's second possession of the second half. That went in the end zone. Yeah, so Sharon Jones back out for the Lobo offense. And New Mexico has just not done much offensively on the game. That's been heightened of late. There's Tavaka Tuioti. His number's not grand either, but he's a better thrower. Certainly a much higher relative completion percentage by 10 points.
This is a passing formation for New Mexico.
Jones does throw, and he connects. And he shrugs off Logan Stewart. Impressive yards after catch. Jamal Hicks finally takes out Marcus Williams. Big time chug.
Yeah, they come right out of the chute, and Jones gives you a nice quick pass. 3 receivers to that strong side to the left.
16 yards. So now Carroll has some space, and the seam right back to Hicks. He gets over midfield. That'll be 15.
Yeah, Carroll running that ball pretty good. 137 yards so far in this football game. And a lot of them have been big chunks like that.
And Teton Saltis limps off. Jared Sylvester, JUCO transfer, just raced on to take his spot at tackle. The Bob Davie's team looking for its first league win, down a couple of touchdowns. Home against a nemesis, a team they can't beat. Oh, what a great sell on the fake by Jones. But Kamara, strong foot speed to stay with him. He does pick up the first, but minimizes damage.
Yeah, he gets out of bounds right there at the marker.
They give Jones and this New Mexico team credit for its resiliency. You know, Bob Davie basically said it, right? Said it's going to come down to which team can bounce back from getting their butt kicked. Both of us are digging out of a hole. That's what he told us when we met yesterday.
Jones is the ball handler.
There it's Davon Vigilant getting a rare carry. He punishes for a couple. So we are through three. A 28-14 margin in favor of the Rams. 3 unanswered touchdowns. Can the Lobos respond when the fourth arrives? College football presented by Geico. Lobos and Rams fans soaking up the scene. A number of RVs. See one in the background there. Caught a few in the desert, I think, on the way into the stadium.
Ah, there's a Chick-fil-A fan.
Right on brand. I like it. Can Sharon Jones cook up more magic for Bob Davie? Quick hitter. Ankle grab there on Marcus Williams. He gets yanked down. Third down at about 13. Excuse me, third down at about 7. Touchdown off the board.
There's that 3 receiver formation they had earlier in the third quarter. They threw a pass underneath, almost like a double screen.
Here the inside run for Carroll. And they're going to spot that ahead of the marker and good for the first down. Tron Folsom took him out low, and Sharon Jones killed the play and checked into that.
Yeah, how about Carroll, though, John, the way he can just accelerate. Those first couple of steps, he is absolutely flat out full speed. He can get through a crack even when there's not much of a crack.
And he's doing it with Amari Davis banged up. We haven't seen him in the game tonight. Jones sold it there some, a couple of yards for Carroll. Tonight's Red Zone brought to you by Verizon. It's been a mighty struggle for New Mexico on the year, but 2 touchdowns in 2 trips tonight. Entering the day, it was 53% touchdown, 9 of 17.
Yeah, talk about gotta have it time, though. It's into the fourth quarter now. You're finally getting back into the red zone. You gotta have 6 here.
Carroll adjusts. And a solid tackle. Pops him just inside of the 15-yard line. Bombic lassos him up.
Yeah, Bombic again closing from that defensive end position.
Are you in 4-down situation here? Granted, your offensive constraints, how explosive the Rams are. There's a lot of time, but it feels different.
Yeah, it feels different, but I think if they have to kick a field goal here with 12 and a half minutes to go, they can still kick the field goal and feel good about it without having to make yourself go for it on 4th.
They're 1 of 9 on 3rd down tonight. Play fake. Jones slips through a couple of hits. Can make plays with his legs, and he smashes Jamal Hicks. He knew his best chance to make sure he got past the marker was plunge into the safety, and he does to pick up 10.
Should have been tackled twice. You've got 5 guys rushing.
Now on 1st and goal, Carroll swung down, end zone, touchdown. Critical score for the Lobos.
That's exactly what Bob Davie's football team needed. 6 points, 12 minutes to go here in the football game, and they're 1 touchdown down with this extra point good. Man, Stapley and company up front, especially in the middle, just splattered some Rams.
Kyle Stapley, who moved to center when he arrived in New Mexico for the first time. Extra point good. Offensive line giving some push. And Carroll, who had a touchdown lost when he lost the ball in the first, gets it here. Bob Davie's Lobos in dire need of a drive, and they get it. 12 plays, 80 yards, eating up nearly 5 minutes. They had a touchdown loss to penalty, but Bryson Carroll gets in the end zone at a gutsy drive for Sharon Jones.
Yeah, no doubt. Sharon Jones is a heck of a ball handler. A lot of his prestidigitation, that close-up work, is working very well. And Brandon Carroll, 187 yards so far rushing, has been the key factor for New Mexico.
Once you break 4 syllables, you lose me, you know. So we got a ball game here again, Randy. You know, last year it came down to a last-second field goal make when the Rams won by 2 points on a Wyatt Bryan kick. Rams bobble. And yet win yards and get better field position to about the 30. Sweep. Dante Wright breaks free. Big play in a big way, Wright with a couple of long runs for the Rams, tracked down by Justin Harris.
Nice play call, pretty good blocking, but this is a lot more. Wright's just going to run them where they ain't. Didn't get much blocking out there, but he kind of made guys run into each other and ran to the open grass.
Now he's getting it done to the ground. 30 yards there. Haven't heard Kinsey's name called much out of the backfield.
Remember, he went off the field limping a little while ago.
That was right after his second touchdown. There is Kinsey, who gets stood up. Latavian Beaton, who's had a really nice game for the Lobos, a couple of yards there. Now the Rams looking for a response. Beaton and the Lobos rarely take the ball away from their opponent. They have done so tonight.
Well, that's what they're looking for right now. They're looking to knock the ball loose. Keep it tight.
Violence at the junction point. That the turn of phrase hammered into the heads of the Lobos at practice. Off the play fake. Jackson sheds Beaton, gets aided out of bounds. He has been a wrecking crew.
There are 3 or 4 Lobos in his general direction by the time he gets this ball and starts running. He's got man on man, and there's not much of a man there. Then you've got 3 other guys eventually get around him. But that's being 6'6" and 218 out against guys that are 5'9" and about 180 pounds.
A lot of chunk plays for the Rams tonight. There's Kinsey, who waits for the hole to open up and then picks up a little more than 3. Yeah, the Rams tonight have had 5 plays of 20-plus yards, Randy. That means 42 such plays allowed by New Mexico this year, among the worst in major college football.
Yeah, Wright's got 64 yards. Kinsey's got 76. And they're throwing it all over the lot.
Empty here. Motion from Wright. Lobos send 4. O'Brien flushed. An extra rusher comes. He lobs, looking for Jackson, incomplete. Dejon Rogers in the area. 3rd and 12. That's come up a few times tonight.
O'Brien's going to get flushed out in this area. Watch Jackson out here at the top of the screen. When O'Brien starts moving, he heads to the sideline. O'Brien's got a little bit more patience. Jackson's going to come back to him enough. He could have had a completion there.
You're in field goal range, you can make it a 2-score game. Rams cannot turn it over. Lobos want that football. Backside pressure, and O'Brien's down. Jacoby Hearn again. He has been living in the backfield, and that could impact a kick.
Yeah, you don't want a turnover, and the other thing you don't want a sack and a big loss of downs. But here comes Hearn from that linebacker position on the backside. Man, he is on O'Brien like a dog on a bone. He ain't letting go.
46-yard try from Caden Camper, whose career long is 46 against Arkansas. And this try,
nope,
no good. So a critical tackle for loss followed by a missed field goal, and it remains a 1-score game.
Now that's why you do not want a sack on 3rd down. Get rid of it, do everything you can. Difference between a 40 and a 46 miss.
A miss from 46 by the freshman Caden Camper. Carroll the run here, bounces off the first hit, gets second level, and gets hit down by Logan Stewart and Jamal Hicks. And this is all possible, Randy, because Jacoby Hearn has 3 tackles for loss tonight and his team leading 3rd sack.
Well, they mash him, and they get that outside established, and Carroll's got the grit and the speed to get that corner.
Can Sharon Jones lead the comeback here? Ball on the ground. Rams think they have it. Colorado State with a free football. And that's Ram football. Jan Philip Bombek, part of the disruption, and Daquan Jackson comes up with it.
Remember that ball handling and prestidigitation I've been talking about? Came back to bite him. You got the quick motion, trying to fake it. One guy was faking, one guy was grabbing. That ends up being Colorado State ball when that happens.
Bombek just punches it free from Emmanuel Logan Green.
That ball wasn't even handed off. It was kind of bobbled and shoveled into the midsection.
We'll get a timeout here from the Lobos. Off the quick drop, hit as he throws. Jackson's got it. What presence to spin, stiff arm, shed Rodgers for a few extra strides.
Jackson is an instant mistake eraser. You lose yards, you get a penalty. Jackson erases the yards and then gets some. And as he's done all night long, O'Brien's just hung in there till the last second and taken some pretty good shots.
That's 14 there for Jackson. He's now got 188 on the game. The Rams working clock, but with confusion here. This isn't with purpose.
Well, the clock's running, but the play clock's not. Just started.
Blitz shown late. And the snap comes, ball free, and O'Brien falls upon it. Randy, every time you think something weirder can arrive,
couldn't happen,
it does.
Or you look at the defense, who looked like they were offsides when this ball was snapped. See, they're offsides right there. That doesn't get called, but O'Brien's looking to the sideline when the ball's snapped. See, a lot of centers are trained when you see a guy offside, snap it to get the flag. Well, the problem was no flag.
One-on-one. And Jackson erases that mistake again. Touchdown, Rams. He is a matchup nightmare.
Yeah, Jackson will get a DB going home saying, "Mama, that man took advantage of me. He just picked on me. Threw the ball right over his head." Wow, that Jackson's something.
26 there, so he's broken 200 yards in the game, and the point after good. Warren Jackson with 2 huge grabs, his immense presence rippling out here in Albuquerque. And it has O'Brien and Colorado State sitting pretty.
You know, sometimes you just got to dance. You just got to let it go.
I know Gardner Minshew lost that much weight. Colorado State now cruising in the 4th. Warren Jackson has been a one-man wrecking crew. A knee here for the Lobos. Carroll, bright spot in what's been an overall darker night for the Lobos. Spelling Amari Davis, who has not played tonight, was limited with back spasms.
192 yards for Carroll so far. This is a program that's had plenty of rushing yards since Bob Davie came here and introduced this option.
Now in year 2 of using a more spread look. Sharon Jones checking down.
It's spread, but there's a lot of run.
Yep. Well, Jones 5 of 11 to passing. That's the entire air attack for the Lobos tonight. And give the Rams credit. Jones can make a ton of plays with his feet there, thwarted by Bombic. He's had a couple of plays tonight, but they've contained him incredibly well.
They really have. I tell you, the ends specifically, and Bombic's been in the man a couple of times, or quite a few times, have really come up and they've just stared at him. He hasn't gotten them very much with the handling of the ball. They've maintained those responsibilities.
Oh, dangerous ball, nearly picked, but won by Marcus Williams. He gets chipped out of bounds by Bailey. That's one of the bright spots, is the arrival of Williams as a pass catcher.
Yeah, that ball was jumped by Hawkins. Thought he had an interception. That's why it ended up being as much of a gain as it was.
Jones, a bit of a low throw. That's a catch. Marcus Williams has cleaned up a lot tonight.
So we talk about range of catches. You got to have some pretty good range of catches when you're catching passes from an option quarterback. Williams has.
1-on-1. Incomplete. Andre Neal in coverage against Jordan Kress. Bob Davie, his team had an extra day this week. Colorado State on short rest. New Mexico had played on Friday last week. You asked him, is it mental? Is it physical? He said it's more mental, trying to sell that to our players. Your body feels what your mind tells it to feel, and there's a lot of truth in that. Oh, the blitz on. Jones floats it incomplete. Driving pressure from Tron Folsom, and the Avalanche is just taking over here.
Yeah, Folsom coming from the top of the screen gets right into the kitchen. He's coming late. He gets up, and he's right there. There's no way you step into that throw. Talk about selling things about being mentally tough and rested. Now's when you're selling that you're not out of it. Stay in it. You score now, you get the ball back. You're only down 1 score.
First 4th down try tonight for the Lobos. That one a bit behind his target, but ripped down for a catch. Logan Stewart makes the contact, but in a sensational grab there from Marcus Williams.
Yeah, as long as in this situation, you're at 3.5 minutes to go. As long as you're still on the field, still have the ball, there's a chance that you score, and you're still in it.
11 yards there to move the chains. Jones launching. Aaron Molina. Flag out.
That's interference in the end zone. That ball's going to be on the 2-yard line.
Matched up with Kevin Bailey.
Oh, getting him for grabbing that arm right there. Then grabbing him again. Yeah, it's not interference in the end zone. It's in the field of play. So it'll just be from the line of scrimmage.
So it is first down at 10. Locked left side, stepping up. Oh, my goodness. What a hit. Ball free.
Was that a face?
And the Rams have it.
Was that a, did he rip that ball away from him as he spun him around, pulling that arm?
Won by Livingston Pagofi.
Watch the violent way his body turns. That's when the ball leaves. Right there. Boy, Jackson falls right on it. But that violent grab, he grabs him by the left arm and twists his body around, and that's when the ball comes out. Left arm, twist, see you later ball. Left arm, shoulder pad, that's a slam to the ground and a denial of the ball.
Great time for the Rams. The turnover belt broken out. Given to the man who ripped the ball free, Livingston Pagofi. That gives the Rams the ball with 3 minutes to go. And you expect to see a slew of runs here. A little more than a yard.
And you better have two hands on the ball if you're given that responsibility.
Mike Bobo, quarterback at Georgia. His son, 6'5", 260, plays offensive tackle.
Just a grown. He's one of those the size of him. The one thing you don't want to do is feed him at that age. He's probably eating like a black hole. Probably on his way to about 300, about $3 bills.
Right in motion. Kinsey shielding the ball well. They're not getting a ton of yards, but so what? Up 2 scores.
Did you see the way he violently twisted down as he was going down? They weren't grabbing him. They were grabbing the ball. That's why he went down that way.
Third down. Right. Couldn't elude that first hit. Big rip there by Johnny Hernandez. No, fourth down arrives, but the Lobos are out of timeouts.
Yeah, and a smart job by Wright there. You know, you're getting to the point where they're going to take you down, cover the ball up, and go down. That's a smart decision. Plus, you stay in bounds, and the clock keeps moving.
A 35-21 lead as O'Brien seems to have grabbed a stranglehold on that starting quarterback job. Deshaun Rogers, return man for the Lobos. They need some magic. Stonehouse gets this one off. Oh, that stays in play. The roll to the 11.5. It is a game that has 2 of the top punters in both the Mountain West and in all of FBS football, in Ryan Stonehouse and Tyson Dyer.
That's pretty impressive. Altitude or not, it's hard to do that consistently.
Jones fire. That's going to be jumped and picked off. Intercepted by Andre Neal. To the 1-yard line. The Rams only had 2 interceptions defensively all year entering this game.
That ball was just in the air too long. We've talked about O'Brien's arm. Well, they don't have a good enough arm.
The play was over. Unsportsmanlike conduct on the intercepting team, number 5.
So Andre Neal now has 2 of his team's 3 picks on the year.
See, the ball's in the air a long time, and when it is, the DB can react. We've talked about the arm of O'Brien. Well, Jones doesn't have the kind of arm that can throw that kind of route in that situation. Doesn't get there fast enough. That's why the DB can jump it.
So they can send out the victory formation. One long streak will come to a close. Another will continue.
Well, another streak, speaking of streaks for the Rams, New Mexico, the next 2 opponents, Mike Bobo has never lost to as a head coach.
He has never lost to the Lobos. He has never lost to Fresno State. He has never lost to UNLV.
1 down, 2 to go.
They'll have a week off next week. Mike Bobo at Colorado State. The first win for the Rams against an FBS opponent in almost exactly a year since they beat New Mexico last year and their mastery of their conference rival continues. That is now 10 straight meetings between these teams won by Colorado State.
Yeah, and Mike Bobo found an identity for his football team with the passing that they've had. Bob Davie's identity for his team kind of stayed the same as far as running the ball, aggressive defense, but they made enough mistakes to kind of beat themselves at times.
Warren Jackson was sensational, and the Rams get a league win. Final score 35-21. For the Hall of Famer, Randy Cross, and our entire crew, I'm John Sadak. This has been a presentation of CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. Now to New York, inside college football.